And now, Knock 2 Studios presents Common Censored.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Common Censored. We got the fans lining up down in the Bronx as Donald Trump's rally is underway in New York. Exciting to see such an excellent turnout in such a blue state. Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for being here, all of you censored commoners. This is Common Censored, Episode 160. I'm your host, Lord Sterling, and we should be having a special guest today, Joshua MOROTT, running for U.S. House, challenging Speaker Johnson in Louisiana's 4th District. If you guys have any good... Alpha Boss, wow, Lord on time tonight. Yeah, if you guys have any good Bronx videos or anything, send them my way. Let's hop over and see what's going on as I do the intro. All kinds of people grouping together, real diversity happening organically in the Bronx. This is America. This is the real melting pot, the voluntary melting pot. This is what makes us great, and we will make America great again. Make sure to join us Monday through Friday, 6:30-ish Eastern Time, PM. Make sure to use hashtag Common Censored when you share the show on X, where you can find us at _Common Censored. Links to all of the content we cover today, videos, articles, etc., will be down in the description after the episode, with Mama Mac adding some timestamps. So if you're watching this later and you need to focus your attention efficiently, you can hop down in there, look at the topics we discuss, jump to the timestamps for the things that interest you. And yeah, thanks Mama Mac for that. If you want to support Mama Mac and fam, head on over to alplama.com. Your new herbal health guru. They've got a tincture for every ailment that may be bothering you. Natural remedies, that's the way to go. Hit up their customer service over there, and they'll help you figure out what you need. They've got a whole host of things with descriptions and the various ailments that they help remedy. If you want to support the show directly, you can head on over to our link tree, where you can subscribe monthly via Subscribestar. And locals, oh, X isn't showing us live? That's weird. Crazy B. Wonder what's going on with that. Maybe we have a connection issue. It says we're live on X. I don't know what's going on with that. I'll have to check over there in a second. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, you guys can subscribe monthly with Subscribestar. Locals, you can make one-time donations with Cash App, Venmo, etc. Thanks everybody for your support. We appreciate it. Loki, really appreciate it. Appreciates you guys keeping her belly full of treats. And we're saving up for that Loki boot camp with the Olive. I got to get that video, otherwise it doesn't make sense if I just say it. Disclaimer. Views expressed on Common Censored are only opinions. Assume everything we say is false and research for yourself. We're not giving medical, legal, or financial advice. The only advice we are giving is think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Boom. So I heard that Lou covering this live down in the Bronx having connection issues, apparently. Not surprising considering all the cell phones that are probably down in that area. Veteran bikers on it as well. President Trump getting nothing but love in the Bronx. Word on the ground is the park is at max capacity with 3,000 plus people and another 28,000 lined up around the venue and down the street. They can't hide this anymore. They've been using the media, social media, to create a false impression of the information landscape. And I was just reading from this tweet. Sorry, I didn't realize that it wasn't on screen at the time. Let's check in over here with Brendan Dilley and see what this fine-looking gentleman has to say about Trump in the Bronx.
Dios es súper bueno. Miren el sol que nos ha mandado en el día de hoy. Cuando todos decían que iba a llover, nuestro Dios nos ha dado el mejor día.
Okay.
Que viva nuestro Dios y que viva Donald Trump.
You got the Spanish-speaking people also down with Trump. Oh, let's check this out. This wins the internet. Donald Trump Bronx rally. Oh my God. What's her face? The crazy lady's there with Forgiato blow. Oh man, we gotta see what's going on here.
The demons are here.
So what, I'm a demon?
The demons are here.
Okay, let's go.
Let's
Who are
run it.
you? Who are you? Who the fuck are you?
I'm me.
What's your
Barney
name?
or something.
I'm the biggest.
Why you
Forgiato. I'm the Trump's nephew. I'm the biggest.
Okay, why you
Cookie
trying
Monster
to-
Barney or whatever her name is.
Trump's gonna send you out of this country when he wins.
So you're a fucking racist.
No.
Half of these.
No, we say deport Democrats. We're gonna pass an amendment to deport all the Democrats.
These young boys right here. Come in, young boys. Come in, young boys. Come in, young boys. Come on. Come on, young boys.
He's got his big ass Trump chain on too.
We want Trump. We want Trump. We want Trump. We want
Oh, there's Lou.
We want Trump. We want Trump. We want Trump. We want Trump. Yeah, we want Trump. We want Trump.
Yeah! This is awesome. They can't hide it anymore. New York is flipping red, baby! New York is going red! That's what I like to see. Lou hanging out with Forgiato Blow. Yeah, this is amazing. MAGA is storming the castle. What? Oh, look at this. The F chart, the famous Joe Biden stealing the election. In 2024, he just votes plummet. This is epic. Let's go back and see what else we got here. Wow, AOC shared a post claiming Trump's Bronx rally will be a, quote, muddy mess, and wrote, God is good. Oh, is it raining down there too? Looks like it's just about to rain here in Connecticut. This is exciting, really exciting. Last night, let's check out this video, actually. Let's see what's going on here. So AOC's happy that it's going to be raining. Yeah, thanks AOC, you bitch. Bo Loudon. Last night, AOC went berserk and rightful President Trump's Bronx rally and whined, the Bronx is blue. It's blue. Let's take a look at the crowd of the AOC 2022 town hall. Doesn't look very blue, AOC. Doesn't look very blue. Oh, man. Sure would be a shame if everybody shared this and it went viral. Let's do it. Give it a little boost over here. Let's see if we're actually live on X while we're over here on X. Yes. Looks like we are live. Good stuff. Boom. We'll pin that to the top of the page. Head back over. See what else we got for Bronx stuff. Let's check the latest. Oh, Mama Mac, you said that there are people speaking over there. Let's go see. We got RSBN. on Rumble. Let's check in. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. See you guys over there. Sheepdog with the first comment. Mama Mac. C-Stock 1976. Good to see you, brother. Crazy B. Thanks for all your help. Appreciate all you guys. Skip this one. Oh, we got Trump.
Going to have her big evening. That was not good. Remember? We had the glass ceiling. You know, we built glass ceiling. She said, we're going to break the glass ceiling. It didn't work out.
New York is flipping red.
You know, I'll tell you a little secret that I don't think I've ever... I hated the concept. I said we have to get on with our country. We have to win against Russia. We have to win against China, North Korea, all the different countries we're at loggerheads with. But as long as you have a smart president, you're going to win those battles. We're winning all those battles, even with the fake Russia scam, which made it harder. But you hated that. And then you see what they want to do to us, to me, to us. And they come along and they don't mind because Joe Biden is the worst president in the history of our country, has no sense, doesn't know what he's doing, grossly incompetent.
Doesn't know where he is.
And our country's going to hell, but we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around fast. Because above all else, and I say this and I believe this on New York, because you are different. You do know that. You know that when I called for this
my family
rally,
long history.
We said, let's just have a meeting. Don't call it a rally. And so many people showed up. I said, like it or not, this is a rally. This is as far as the eye can see. You have to see the lines outside. They're going for miles. But when we saw it and we saw the love, because I called up this morning, do the people like me or do they hate me? They said, they don't like you, sir.
A little bit of both, sir. Oh, yeah, that's true.
So I appreciate it. And I love you too.
And I love you too.
But above all else,
he's looking good, man. Looking fit. He's aged a little bit since 2016, but not much and nothing compared to most presidents.
Boy, look at all the cameras back there. That's amazing. That's the fake news. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear your shoulders all healed up, Chris.
You know, they'll say tonight.
Thanks, Chris. I saw that repost.
Trump spoke to a very small crowd of people in the Bronx. It was a very hostile
Take it easy,
crowd,
Chris.
Very hostile.
Catch you on the flip side, brother.
They hated him very much. No, sometimes
Donald Trump
okay.
spoke to a very small crowd in the Bronx.
I agreed to do a debate with crooked Joe Biden on CNN with fake Tapper, and I think they'll be fair. Does anybody think they'll be fair? I might be.
We're kind of freestyling at the moment. I got a bunch of stories,
right.
but
when
this is happening, and this is cool.
Here's your story. You can have
Red
a
Wave in
debate
the Bronx
on CNN
is major.
with fake Tapper as the primary host, and I said, I'll do it.
Fake Tapper.
You know what they thought
Jake
is they'd say
Tapeworm.
CNN, and they'd say various people on the show, various anchors, and headed up by fake Tapper.
Thanks, Chris.
And they thought I would
Appreciate it,
reject
brother.
it. I don't want to do it. Then Biden would say, I offered to debate, but he wouldn't do it. So they said, we want to have a debate. I'll take it.
What do you guys think?
Well, we haven't even
How's it
told
looking
you
down
what
in the
debate
Bronx?
is all about. Then they said, today, they said, we'd like to set up tables so you sit down. I said, I don't want to sit down for a debate. Let's go. At some point, so we're not sitting down. We're going to be standing up for the debate. And here's what you know. If crooked Joe Biden makes it through the debate, which I think he will, they're going to say it was one of the great debate performances in history. One of the greatest debate performances. But there they are. And we're on every network tonight. I don't know what's going on. We're on Fox. We're on all of them. So
they're actually showing
have
them?
a lot of fun, but we're on all of them. So they understood. They understood before anyone how big this would be. And
the only reason they're showing Trump on other networks is if they're planning on ditching Biden.
Thank you.
Nice. Good shit, Alpha Boss.
But above all, New Yorkers have something called common sense, and we do have common sense. And
we got
old-fashioned
Common
American
Censored.
common sense is exactly what I intend to bring back to the White House, just like we had for 4 years. You know, we had 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country. We rebuilt the military, we cut taxes, the biggest tax cut in history, the biggest regulation cut in history. We defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS, and we did it in about...
You got it, Alpha Boss. That's the joke.
1/100th the time. They said it would take 4 to 5 years. It took me like 2 months, right? Because we have an incredible military, and we're not allowed to show. They had Afghanistan, the worst pullout, the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. It's probably the reason, a piece of it, why Russia went into Ukraine. They said, these people are incompetent. We'll go in. So Russia going into Ukraine would have never happened. None of this stuff that you see would have happened.
That's right, my
Israel would have never happened. The attack on October 7th.
100%.
And you wouldn't have had inflation. As soon as I get back into the Oval Office, I am going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call your mayor and your governor, and I'm going to say, this is President Trump, and I want to come back and help. Look, you have a Democrat governor, you have a Democrat mayor, and we are going to work with them, and we're going to get this state and this city at a level that it's never seen before, frankly. I think we can do that, too.
Common Censored, available on Amazon.
We're helping them a lot, much more than anybody would expect. It doesn't matter whether
First
they're
Amendment coffee
Democrats
table
or
gag book.
Republicans, because this is about our city and our country, and it's really about the people. And in this case, the people of New York City, New York State. We're going to make you very, very happy. And Biden can't do it. He doesn't know he's alive. You know,
so true.
See all the stairs here? Stairs,
oh God, he'd never make
behind
it.
me, one in the middle. When he's finished with his 2.5 minute, you know, do you ever watch a speech? They last for about 1.5 minutes. When he's finished with his speech, he can never find the stairs.
Not the only place it lasts 1.5 minutes.
He can never find the stairs. And when he does, it's not a pretty picture either. Thank goodness for Secret Service. They come up and they guide him off. No, this is not what we need. When you see President Xi of China, when you see Kim Jong-un of North Korea, when you see
that's a good one, Alpha Boss.
And you see all of these
probably
people,
already exists.
They're at the top of their game, whether you like it or not, and they can't believe that this has happened to the United States. We have lost respect all over the world. We were the most respected country in the world 4 years ago. We were respected more than our country was ever respected 4 years ago, and now we're being laughed at. We're like a joke. And that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. We're going to do whatever it takes to fix our roads, bridges, and highways. We're going to take back our parks, not just for children, but for everybody. We're going to renovate New York's subway system so it no longer looks like it hasn't been cleaned since 1932, but rather it will be the most beautiful transit system anywhere in the world. I don't know if you know it. It's by far the biggest infrastructure, subway infrastructure in the world. And we're going to make it by far the biggest. And now we're going to make it by far the best. We're going to make it beautiful again. And a lot of it is topical. You know, the expensive work people don't understand because they're not in construction. It's topical work. It's topical. It's built. The expensive, the hard, the labor, the money, the big stuff is done. We're going to make it beautiful. We're going to make it good. And most importantly, we're going to let New York's finest do its job. The transit cops do their job. We're going to make it safe. Most importantly. And importantly for the people that are before me today, we are going to make life in New York affordable again. It's gotten totally out of control. The minute crooked Joe Biden shuffles out the door, I will rapidly rebuild the greatest economy in the history of the world. Look, we had the greatest economy in history. Everybody here, where you have a small business or if you had a job, you were getting more than you ever made. And we had no inflation. We had no 1.4%, considered none, considered better than none, because frankly, none in its own way is a bad thing also. We had a perfect number, 1.4%. It doesn't matter whether you're black or brown or white or whatever the hell color you are. It doesn't matter. We are all Americans.
Such a New Yorker.
And we're going to pull
Whatever
together
the hell color you
as
are.
Americans.
Thanks, Mama Mac. Ugh. Demon Hochul.
We all want better opportunity. I'm not just going to promise it. I'm going to deliver it as I did just a short while ago. Think of it. You know, when I went down
Seinfeld
to
reference.
Washington,
Gotcha,
I was only
Alpha Boss.
there 17 times. I never stayed over. I didn't know that society. And we had great people. Look at what we did with economic development, with the rebuilding of our military, with the tax cuts, we had great people. But we also had some people that
We
I
got
wouldn't
our
have
special
used
guest
if I had my choice.
has arrived
Now
in
I
the
know
background.
everybody.
Let's
I know the smart ones, I know the
transfer
dumb ones,
from
I know
the
the
Trump
killers, I know the
coverage
weak ones, I know them all.
to our interview.
And you're going to see. But everyone was better
All
off.
right.
We had the greatest
Mr.
economy
President,
in history. Everybody
wishing you
was
the
better
best
off
down
under
in New York.
a man named President.
All right, let's see. You all ready, Josh? Mr. MOROTT? All right, let me bring you up on screen here. Looks like I'm glitching out a little bit. Is your screen look black on your end, or is it just my end? I saw you for a second. Technical difficulty, guys. Sorry, bear with us for a second. Modern age, this is bound to happen. Standard operating procedure.
I don't know what's going on.
I saw you for a second, and then you just went black. Looks like he's reloading. We'll get him back in a second. Let me bring up his campaign page while we're sorting out the technical difficulties. Our special guest is Joshua MOROTT, who's running for U.S. House in Louisiana District 4, challenging the incumbent Speaker Mike Johnson. And he hasn't really gotten a fair shake. No media is willing to talk to him. He had to resort to coming over here to Common Censored. But he's got a lot of great policies. Let's head over to his campaign page and scope it out. We checked it out the other day a little bit. But this is the type of candidate we need as well. Border security, closing, defending our borders by any means necessary. Veterans' rights. He's committed to better serving veterans, proposing the creation of a veteran retirement communities for aging and homeless veterans. That sounds like a good idea. Definitely, it would help them potentially also being around people of like mind with similar experiences that could create a cohesive community environment. I agree. He firmly believes no veteran in America should ever be homeless, which is a major problem that we're facing right now across the country. Economy and jobs. Mr. MOROTT stresses the need to stop congressional waste on pork projects, which he views as abusive and fraudulent, attributing high inflation to Congress's excessive spending and emphasizing the importance of fiscal responsibility. This is a good one. Joshua is against all foreign aid until America takes care of its own first. Not surprising, he's challenging Speaker Mike Johnson after the first thing that Mike Johnson did when he got in office was bring a foreign aid spending bill onto the floor to help fund Israel. Loki, what are you doing over here? Loki's being crazy over there. Sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. We'll have Mr. MOROTT, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, back as soon as possible. I don't know what's going on. I saw him for a second, and then the second I tried to add him, the screen went black. I don't know if it's my fault, or if the broadcasting website was glitching or something, but let's continue covering some of his policies. Oh, sounds like we got him back. All right, let's try bringing him back on. There we go.
Just let me know if I'm too close or too far away.
Ah, you're perfect. Good stuff. MOROTT, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Joshua MOROTT, running in Louisiana's 4th District for U.S. House against incumbent Speaker Mike Johnson. Well, it's always an uphill battle running against an incumbent, but you're getting the brown end of the stick in a variety of ways. The media is refusing to talk to you. Is that right? You haven't been able to get any interviews
With the mainstream media, correct?
with the mainstream media. Yeah.
Like I've reached out to a good bit of them, and I haven't heard anything back yet.
Typical. I don't know if you're familiar with attorney Robert Barnes, but he's talked about before how the system is basically rigged to only allow a few candidates to be viable. They restrict people from getting on the ballot by making you have to jump through all these hoops to get a certain amount of signatures and everything. And then the media, how are you supposed to get signatures? If the media won't even cover you or talk to you? It's a rigged game, unfortunately. But we're wishing you the best over here. Mama Mac saying, "Welcome, Mr. MOROTT. Kick Mike Johnson's ass." I agree. I agree with that. So what sparked your what was the impetus for you for choosing to run?
Just to try to put a stop to the bullcrap. We got too many. It's become East Coast Hollywood, and too many people are signing up to be another actor. Too many people are signing up to fatten their wallets. I am in it to restore the Republic. I'm in it to restore the Constitution. I'm in it to restore our rights. We have no rights anymore. They're being stripped away, taken away, not just by the federal government, but by our local and state governments. They are taking your rights away. They are the ones passing laws restricting how you can behave, what you can say, what you can do. We have to take this country back, and we got to do it the right way. And the right way is more regular people need to step up and run for office.
That's right. And not only are they regulating what you can do, what you can say, but they're robbing you while they do it, taxing us out of this world, robbing us blind. They're gutting. Not only are they taxing us, but they're printing bazillions of dollars, sending them overseas, which weakens all of our dollars. So they're taxing us, taking a percentage of our labor and wages, which don't qualify as income, and then they're also sucking value out of our bank accounts by printing money. What's your position on the Federal Reserve, sir?
We shouldn't even be. We shouldn't be in the position we're in. They just now released this morning. I think it's $300 million. They're going to be sending $300 million more to Ukraine for weapons. They are depleting our own weapons stockpile. They're spending money we don't have. We are broke as a nation, and there is no other way to say. I mean, I think we are the number one carrier of debt. We're probably breaking $40 trillion. How in the world is America paying that back? Who knows? I don't think they intend to. At this point, it would be probably easier to start a war than it would be to pay back the debt that they have, that they all got us in.
I agree. Seems like we're in the final stages of the empire where the elite class loots everything they can from the system to line their own pockets and prepare them for the next phase. This is the fourth turning where there's this conflux of major societal turns all happening at once, and it seems like there's going to be a huge restructuring. Speaking of how they're depleting our munitions, did you hear about this story? The company Vista Outdoor, the parent company for over 40 well-known brands, including, Remington, Bushnell, Federal Ammunition, Vista Outdoor just got sold for $1.91 billion to a Czechoslovakian group that's been supplying Ukraine with ammo. So if they can't take our guns, maybe they'll try to restrict our ammo supplies.
Exactly. They are. This is not a patriotic America government that we're dealing with. This is a hijacked government. I think it's been hijacked on every level. I think it's been hijacked on the local, state, and federal level. On most situations, it's being hijacked by the left. And I'm not saying Republicans get it right all the time, but there are, I mean, in the most truest sense, Republicans have more allegiance to America's Constitution than the left does. The left is just too concerned about rewriting history. The left is concerned about erasing history and creating something completely new. I just see it. It's just all gone wrong, and it's not going to get better. Um, People, I'm still getting feedbacks. It's kind of split. There's a lot of people in my district that are angry with Mike Johnson, and there's some people that are sitting there saying, "Oh, he's doing a good job. He's doing a good." I'm sitting there scratching my head like, "What the hell? He's not doing a good job. He's selling you out. He's selling America out. They all are. They're screwing up our nation. They're just screwing you." I know people. When I was an insurance agent, people will jump if their insurance carrier went up $10, they would jump. They would go to somebody else. It blows my mind. A mechanic, a shop did damage to my vehicle. This was years ago. About $1,000 of damage. I didn't go back to that shop. I didn't blast them on social media. They lost me $1,000. Okay, Mike Johnson and all of those phonies, deep state people, they lost you, the voters, you, the taxpayers. They've lost over $1 trillion just this past year. They've lost you $1 trillion, and you want to vote them back in? What are people? Are we this nuts as a society? You're going to leave your car insurance company for $10, but you're going to vote for a guy back into office when he lost you $1 trillion? That's a huge disconnect. We have got to get better as a people. We need to start connecting the dots faster. We're losing this country. We're losing our rights. Look 100%. What they did to Trump. Now, here's the scary part that's not talked about enough. They had used that, I can't remember the name of it, the FICA court to wiretap Trump and the Trump Tower.
FISA, yep.
Okay, that happened in America. People need to say that out loud. I'm convinced that we have gotten to a point in America to where we're not saying enough stuff out loud to let it get registered. Did you hear what I said, America? We had a federal government spy on a contender, a presidential candidate back in 2016.
And then when he was in office also.
Say what?
Then when he was in office also, they continued spying on him.
Yeah.
It's Watergate times hijacked. 1 billion. It's hijacked. Since the Federal Reserve, that was like the camel's nose under the tent, taking control of the monetary system that gave them partial control over the government. Then FDR created the OSS with the communist wild Bill Donovan in charge. And that was like the final nail in the coffin for the U.S. government, with FDR, socialist, commie arguably, and the OSS, secret intelligence agency, doing things behind the scenes, assassinating people all over the world overseas, manipulating things. This is not the way our country's supposed to be run.
All they're doing is giving us theatrics. Mike Johnson, it pisses me off when I come across his Twitter feed where he's sitting there trying to pretend he's a good guy. He's full of shit. They all are. I'm sick of it. America is sick of it. District 4 is sick of it. He's over there bitching and complaining, pointing fingers. The audacity of the elites, the audacity of Mike Johnson pointing the finger at Biden and blaming everything on Biden, blaming all the policies. Here's what people need to understand. Mike Johnson and the majority of them that are voting these bills through, they are funding 100% what they're bitching about. Let me say that again.
Exactly.
They are funding everything they are complaining and pointing fingers about. So hear me clearly. It's theatrics. We need to stop falling for the theatrics. They've already got us $40 trillion in debt. Do you seriously want to keep voting these clowns back in? What for? They've lost you over $1 trillion. Why do you keep putting them back in office? It doesn't nobody any good. They're selling our country out. They're traitors to this country. They should be brought up on prosecution. But guess what?
100%.
They own the prosecutors.
Yeah. Right. The fox guarding the hen house. It's all connected. People talk about the Democrat plantation and how the Democrats and minority groups will continue voting for the Democrats, even though they're abusing them constantly.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Republican plantation as well. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, the hardliners. I'm realizing that there are hardliners. The RNC hardliners are going to vote for those establishment candidates no matter what. They could sit there and have whatever scandals. They can waste whatever money of your money, $200 or $300 million of your money going to a foreign country to just for it to be money laundered, just so it could be, embezzled and stolen. They're living like kings and queens while we are suffering. America, we've got to wake up. We're not being represented. This is no longer a patriotic America. They are not. I am not in it to make friends up in D.C. First of all, you send me to Washington, D.C., I'm going to represent you, the people. I'm not going to represent an establishment. I'm not going to represent foreign nationals. I'm not going to represent Ukraine. And Ukraine is over there, crying. And, even if they got tears running down our face, I'm going to say, I'm sorry, but we're bankrupt. That's the honest God's truth. The Republicans
if we can
and
borrow
the Democrats
money to lend,
have bankrupted us. The
exactly.
Republicans and Democrats have bankrupted America. It is what it is. Now we have to clean up the mess. They're not going to clean it up. Make no mistake, they're part of the problem. The establishment elites are part of the problem. We need grassroots candidates. We need citizen legislators to rise up. We don't need any more of these clowns going back in office. We need to vote them out. They're destroying America. They're destroying who we are as a people. We know we don't have pride anymore. There is no more American exceptionalism. Why?
Right.
Because they've done everything to censor it. They've done everything to demolish it. They've done everything that they can to try to take out God, take out the Bible, take out Jesus Christ. Even history is trying to rewrite itself by putting BCE, before Common Era, I think is what they're trying to rename. Instead
I haven't even heard that.
Yeah, instead of before Christ and AD, it's now before the Common Era, and I think let's see, BCE. I'm trying to get these right.
Wow.
It's where they're trying to take Christ completely.
I'm surprised they haven't gone full yar null and just started the. Yes, we can. I can hear you now. You broke up for a couple seconds. We got the black screen again. Might be having a little bit of connectivity issue. If you want to pop out and pop back in, that's fine. No stress. We got plenty of time. Yeah, that is why the Democrat plantation on the left. We got the plantation on the right over here. As you guys know, that's why our motto is think for yourself, question authority. Don't just blindly vote Republican, because you'll end up with douchebags like Speaker Mike Johnson presiding over the looting of the nation. That's why I was just saying, that's why our motto at this show is think for yourself, question authority. And that's what we all need to do. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe a little bit about your background, and why you believe you're the man to unseat Mike Johnson? What tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was the primary caretaker of our two children before I got a divorce. I spent most of my life just working oddball jobs, doing what I had to do to survive, put food on the table. I eventually became an insurance agent. Ended up, having a bad turn in our marriage. Got a divorce. Went a different direction in life. Was going to pursue teaching until I discovered how disastrous of a system it is. Our teachers, you have, I would say, half and half. You've got 50% good teachers out there, and you got the other 50% that are not good. They're just in it to collect the check, and they're in it to take their leave, take their sick days, take every single advantage of the system. And where does that put you and your children? That puts them in the gutter.
Last.
So I mean, the more that I started learning I started doing like everybody else. I started falling into a hypnosis trap with social media, and I I don't know. One day it was almost like a hypnosis.
Ooh, lost him again. Can you hear me, sir?
Y'all can see me, hear me.
I can hear you now. Started breaking up right when you mentioned that it was like a hypnosis, and then it kind of broke out. We got a black screen again. I apologize for the technical difficulties, Mr. MOROTT. This is typical for the modern age. It happens, Looks like he's reloading. We'll have him back with us in a second. Joshua MOROTT was born in Fort Polk, Louisiana, raised in the close-knit community of Slagle. Growing up in this small country town instilled in Joshua a deep appreciation for the values of hard work, community, and resilience. Sounds like he's one of us, just somebody that's trying to work their way up in the system. These are the type of people that we need running for office, people who understand what it's like to be among the people, to be trying to survive in this world where they're squeezing us and bleeding us dry, right?
Yeah, the elites. Washington, D.C. has created definitely a two-tier system. They've created a ruling class and a subjugated class. We are the subjugated class. We're not being represented. All they're doing is they're showboating. That's all they do. They showboat. They get nothing done. They are driving us into a war, and they're getting in front of the cameras like it's no big deal. Every time Mike Johnson gets in front of the camera, it's like, yeah, it's no big deal. I'm going to go fly over here now in the Lear jet paid for by the tax dollars. For what reason? What is the urgency that we have to fly Mike Johnson around the country? Oh, that's right. PR stunts. He needs to campaign for other candidates. So while he's sitting there pointing the finger at Biden, saying Biden's wasting your money, Biden is causing the chaos at the border, even though it's Mike Johnson funding it all.
Right.
So it's a joke. They are
right.
They're nothing but frauds.
Total frauds. I notice here you're against foreign aid until America takes care of its own first. So that must have been particularly frustrating for you with Mike Johnson claiming to be the hero. Then the literal first thing he did on the House floor is bring up an Israel funding bill.
There we go.
Which is, just immediately turning his back on America first. Sorry, guys in the audience as well for the connectivity issues. Thus is the nature of 2024, and they definitely don't want Joshua MOROTT's message getting out there. So wouldn't surprise me if they're throttling his bandwidth a little bit. As a devoted father, Joshua spent much of his time as the primary caretaker of his children, gaining firsthand experience in the challenges and rewards of raising a family. That's what we need, a family man. His passion for education led him to a career as a long-term substitute teacher. Substitute teachers, a lot of the times, were my favorite teachers, where he discovered his love for teaching public speaking. Prior to teaching, Joshua worked as an insurance agent for 5 years, helping individuals and families navigate their financial futures. So he knows about money as well. This is the type of candidate we need, just like Mr. Andrew Hayes over in Oklahoma. These are the down-home type of real-world American citizens that we need. We don't need these puppets, these actors, these politicians who are just putting on a show, making promises and stabbing us in the back. We need real people back in the system. It's time to drain the swamp and get people that are actually our peers in there to represent us. That's what I think Mr. Joshua MOROTT represents, is us, an actual representative of we the people. And I ran into Mr. MOROTT the other day watching Alex Jones live on X, and he was in the comments trying to get interaction, and I was like, hell, you're running against Mike Johnson. This is the type of candidate I want to talk to. Somebody commenting on Jones. running against the corrupt incumbent speaker. Whatever happened to the J6 footage? We were supposed to get 42,000 hours of January 6th footage. Welcome back. Yeah. So Mike Johnson, right? He hasn't come through on any of his promises. What's on your mind?
Okay, I was cut out on all of it. I couldn't hear a word you said.
Oh, it's all good. I was just talking about how, you seem like the type of person that actually, we want juries of our peers. We need representatives of our peers. We need people who are actually our peers representing us in government instead of people like Mike Johnson making promises.
The rich and
right?
the powerful have it. The rich and the powerful have it, but we little people don't.
Exactly. It's a mess. So what are some of the major topics that are on your mind right now as far as national events, national policy? What's the top of your radar this week?
There's a couple things that are very concerning. It's concerning that we're still involved in the Ukraine.
Yeah,
it's like, I asked this the other day. I'm like, since when did Ukraine become part of the United States? United States of Ukraine. I don't. It's crazy. Like, what in the hell are we doing? They have to. I am convinced that the United States government is up to their knees in a lot of unethical, illegal stuff going on in Ukraine. That they've got obviously super something invested, and they don't want to relinquish that. So I honestly think there's something tremendously illegal, treasonous going on.
100%.
We got NATO trying to drag us into a war. NATO is sitting there trying to pick a fight intentionally.
Mm-hmm. It seems like
I'm a proponent for exiting NATO. I'm a proponent for exiting the United Nations. We don't need to be. They share no commonality with American exceptionalism. They do share a commonality with the radical left. And I think that's the only reason we're involved in all of this, is because the left wants to transform America into this unrecognizable country and make it something else. I think their intention is to make America into something that's new and fresh. It's never been done before. And I think that that's exactly their ultimate goal. And one of the ways they're doing this is by convincing us that we need them. We need NATO. We need the United Nations.
Right.
No, we don't. We're the ones funding it all. And we're not that we have the money. Oh, that's right. They're going to get the money from great social programs that could be coming to Americans. But because you got the establishment elites, the establishment politicians that are so corrupt and getting filthy freaking rich off of everybody. And
looks like we lost him again.
Oh man!
I can hear you now. I can hear you. The image is gone. But you can keep talking if you want, because I think we can still hear you. Maybe the image will come back in a few seconds.
It looks like it's up, but I don't know what my phone is doing.
It's all good, brother. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Are you familiar with the Hegelian dialectic?
No.
It's basically they offer you two choices, left, right, etc. And you have thesis and then the antithesis, which is the other option. And then you meet in the middle for a synthesis. And when we start out on the right, 1776, hyper-individualist oriented society, and then we have people on the left voting, we meet in the middle, and it results in this process where we're incrementally, perpetually moving further and further left. And so, like you said, they're transforming the nation. And they may be broadcasting that it's going to be something new and unique and fresh, but I think it's just another iteration of the old communism that they're trying to push in this country, and we can't allow it to happen. And you're talking about Ukraine as, I think it's basically the same thing that you do, a stomping ground for illegal activities. They're laundering money over there. They got John Kerry's kid or nephew or kid, and all these politicians' kids on boards of companies over there. They're doing illegal bioweapons research, which has been exposed by the Russians. All kinds of crazy stuff going on in Ukraine. So yeah, the Hegelian dialectic is a process that just keeps dragging us over to the left. The left is fundamentally incompatible with American ideology. I don't know how we can continue to coexist with the left in the country. It's a major problem. We're being infiltrated and overrun, but we are the majority, I do believe. So the sleeping giant is waking up, as we're seeing right now over in the Bronx. With even the lefties in the Bronx seemingly switching over and being willing to vote Trump. Have you seen any of the action over in the Bronx going on right now today?
I haven't even been. You still hear me?
I can hear you now. Oh no. Yeah, they're definitely throttling his bandwidth, I'd say. They don't want this guy. This guy is everything we need. That's why they don't want Joshua MOROTT.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, sir. Image is black, but I can hear you at least. Oh, you can't hear me? What a mess. What a mess. That's right, Mama Mac. We need to start from scratch. We need a refounding. #refounding. We need to expel all the incumbents, elevate individuals like Joshua MOROTT and Andrew Hayes, and start from scratch with our original Constitution and Bill of Rights and amendments. And we just need to refound everything with our original founding documents, I think. And let's add an amendment. How about we add an amendment to the end of the list, and it's the Deport Democrats amendment. May sound a little mean, but, like I said, this is a ideological crevasse that is insurmountable. We are fundamentally incompatible with ideologies. You can't have individualism and collectivism coexisting in a society with any type of fundamental cohesive framework that's ideologically consistent. So it's a major, major problem. Everybody check out Joshua MOROTT. You can go to @Joshua MOROTT, MOROTT on X, and check out his website as well, electjoshmorottforcongress.com. That's where we are right now. This is the type of guy that we need. It's a shame that the internet is not being our friend today, unfortunately, because he's a well-spoken individual as well, and I would love to help give him a boost. Deport Democrats. Sheepdog, it looks like he's back. Can you hear us, Mr. MOROTT? Let's see. We could theoretically call him from Twitter, Sheepdog, but if it's a bandwidth issue on his phone, it may not make a difference which platform we're using. But we're it's unfortunate that we're stuck in this situation. Not the connection, but the whole just the whole nation. It's a mess. Repeal the 17th Amendment and change Article 1, Section 3 to its original text. Alpha Boss, please send me some details on that. I don't remember what the 17th Amendment is. Can you hear us, Mr. MOROTT? Oh, that's a good idea. I'll send him that message and see if it works. That's a really good idea, Sheepdog. I will message him. Try shutting off Wi-Fi entirely on your phone, and maybe 5G will work better. That's a great idea, Sheepdog, because that happens to me too. When my Wi-Fi goes down or something, I have to shut off Wi-Fi, because if your Wi-Fi is on at all, it will keep trying to connect through that. So hopefully we'll have him back in a second. Let's continue exploring his page a little bit. Education. Let's hear what he has to say about education. Joshua believes abolishing the Department of Education. Joshua supports, abolishing the Department of Education, believing education should be managed at the state level. He emphasizes the need to teach the Constitution at every grade level and to find ways to lower college tuition. Boom, all good stuff. Joshua calls for stripping public colleges of their nonprofit status until tuition becomes affordable and ensuring profits from college sports are not exploited for outrageous salaries. He also seeks reforms on Pell Grant programs to focus skills and trades that serve America in the long term rather than non-skilled degrees. Yeah, we don't need any more degrees in underwater lesbian basket weaving, as Salty likes to say. Additionally, Joshua is against DEI. That's I like DIE, but DEI is good too. Didn't earn it. Diversity, equity, and inclusion education, and believes all DEI departments should be abolished. He's a strong advocate for school choice via a voucher system. Got to agree with all of that. Let's see if he saw my message on. Oh no, he tried that. It did the same. Oh no. I'll ask him if he wants to reschedule. Sorry for the technical difficulties, guys. See, the media is not interviewing him. They're not giving him any support, not letting him get a foothold. They've got to be throttling him. When somebody puts their name out like this, and Huss, bro, what's up? Hey, Beavis. What's up, butthead? Yeah, you put your name out. You file the paperwork. Oh, he said there's a bad storm that passed through earlier. May have caused outages. Makes sense. Oops, sounds like we got him back. There. Hey, welcome back. Good to see you. Long time no talk. So we were just going over your various platforms, policy issues in your platform, looking at your education stuff, term limits. What would be the first thing you would do if you got into office? What would be the first bill you bring to the floor?
I definitely want to see retirement communities being built for our veterans.
That's something that stuck out to me from your page. That sounded like a really good idea. Especially, people struggle going off into a war environment, coming back. It's hard to reintegrate. Jeje von Pepe, good to see you in the chat. Building retirement communities for veterans might be a good way for them to bolster mental health via community. If they're around other people that can relate to them, it could be really positive. How did you come up with that idea? That's a really good idea.
My father's an aging veteran, and hear me?
Yes, sir. Well, it seems like now it seems like we lost you again.
Let me see.
Huss bro from the Great White North. Good to see you. And always good to see you too, JJ. JJ triggered Peter Hotez earlier this morning, I think. Hilariously. We'll cover that in a little bit.
Darn. It still didn't work.
I know. What a mess, right? Oop, sounds like we lost him. Sorry for the shit show, guys, in the chat. Barely surviving Trudeau, I bet. Did you see the law that they passed the other day? Retroactive hate speech law. Huss, bro, that'll allow them to go back in your internet records and arrest people for what they call hate speech, even if it had been said before they passed this law. You got to get out of Canada, dude. Everybody needs to get out. Afuera! Javier Milei style. Thanks to the 40 people joining us live right now on Rumble. Unfortunately, we're having a little bit of technical issues with candidate Joshua MOROTT running for U.S. House in Louisiana's 4th District, running against incumbent and House Speaker Mike Johnson, who's done nothing but go back on his word and not accomplish anything that he told us he would. Ah, there we go. You can see you again. This is Loki, our mascot. Say hi, Loki.
Oh, cool. Oh, it's a real one, too.
Yep. Well, there she goes. That's Loki. So, yeah, you said your father was a recovering veteran?
Yeah, he's aging, and it might get to the point to where he's not going to be able to live alone. And then I was looking into, well, maybe there's retirement communities we can look at for him. And I discovered there are none. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. So we got all this money to can you still hear me?
Yep. Yes, sir.
So I was sitting there thinking, I was like, okay, so we got all the money in the world to fund wars. We got all the money in the war, and you know, we got all this money to give the Ukraine, to foreign agents. We got money to give to the invaders,
To Iran, right?
and to hostile states, but we don't have, and we're not taking care of our veterans. We need to stop being disingenuous. I think Mike Johnson, the rest.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Torture. They're torturing us.
Yeah.
All these great little tidbits. Can hear you now, yes.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so you can still hear me?
Yes, sir. For the moment.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, we need to do better for our own people, and I'm against foreign aid for that reason. You know, anytime that there's a natural disaster that comes through, you got to fight tooth and nail for our people. Have to fight
Yep.
tooth and nail to get some type of disaster funds. Um, Anytime I've heard of people going and getting Social Security, they're having to fight tooth and nail, lawyer up to get their Social Security. We shouldn't be having stuff like that happen. And when you got big shots like Mike Johnson, he's up there, you know, he's all pretty boyed up and everything.
Yeah.
That's all he is. He's just nothing but a pretty boy.
Yep.
He's
just a paper tiger.
They're just lying, stealing bastards, and we need to start calling it like it is. That's all they are. Is they're bastards, and we need to vote them out.
Yep. I just had an idea. If you maybe disable the camera on your end, then it'll stop trying to use bandwidth for your video. Maybe we can keep your audio stream intact and we can at least have consistent audio. Maybe try that, hitting the little camera logo to shut off your camera. Then it'll focus all of your bandwidth on audio and may prevent connection interruptions. We won't be able to see you, but it's better than nothing, right? Down at the bottom of the screen should show you a microphone logo and a camera logo, and it might help if you deactivate the camera. It's possible. Far less bandwidth required to transmit audio.
Let's see.
I feel you, Huss, bro.
There we go. Okay, I figured it out.
Nice. All right. So yeah, veteran retirements communities, I think that's a really good idea. I think that would help a lot in a lot of different ways. Get people off the streets, help veterans stick together and help each other with the support structures that they would need emotionally, and to help reintegrate each other with society. I think that's a really good idea. So
Yes,
good
sir.
job coming up with that. What else is on your mind? What else you want to talk about today? You've got the floor.
Well, because it's extraordinarily relevant. We have got to do something about our educational system. If the radicals have learned anything, it is the effectiveness of breeding anti-Americanism into a generation of Americans. So I propose that we have got to do some type of education overhaul, either privatize it or shut it all down and start from scratch. It's better than breeding an aggressive generation of whiny babies than it is to sit here and risk, breeding more of anti-Americanism into society. We need to stop. I was sitting here thinking the other day. I'm like, we've got to be pretty dumb as a people. We know our education sucks. We know it's a failed system. So why the hell don't we start over? Why?
Yeah.
What is the insistence? That's what we have to ask ourselves this question. What is the insistence of urgency that we have got to keep the schools open and keep them funded when they're failing, and they're failing tremendously fast, rapidly?
Yeah.
Like, it is absolutely crazy. We should be doing something about it, because if we don't get a hold of how we educate our kids, then it's all lost. So if you want to,
Exactly.
so we need we need more people to get involved and stop, either demand to stop funding for these schools and avert funds into a different idea. I just think it's crazy stupid to keep doing the same shit over and over and expecting a different result.
Exactly. Einstein's definition of insanity. And you can see here over at the 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto that free education, the euphemism for brainwashing for all children in public schools, one by one, they've been implementing the various 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto. They want us to own nothing and be happy. Abolition of property, heavy or progressive or graduated income tax. We got that. They want to tax your inheritance, so they're working on that. Centralization
That's
in the
crazy.
credit in the hands of the state. So we got a central bank. There's the 5th plank of the Communist Manifesto, and arguably the most important enacted. They make everybody get licenses and regulate FCC and social media with manipulation through the federal government censoring. So they're centralizing the means of communication and transport. All of these things are happening here. And number 10, free education for all children in public schools, abolition of children's factory labor in its present form, combination of education with industrial protection.
Think about it. If the Democrats want to, like Obama said, totally transform America, the fastest way, and he's a genius for doing this. He's an evil genius, but he's a genius. He incorporated, not just him, the Democrats incorporated the Common Core, and all that was garbage. They totally screwed up tradition, and they incorporated Common Core. No one likes Common Core. It is bullcrap, and I think he's an evil genius because he was ahead of the game from the beginning. Because if you want your future generation to have that same anti-American sentiment that him and Michelle Obama have carried throughout their lives, then you would want to do it through education. And that's exactly what they did. And you got to remember, this was like nearly 20 years ago. So the Obama generation kids are now about to have kids of their own. They probably already have kids of their own. So you got to remember, they were indoctrinated. They were taught bullcrap. They weren't taught American exceptionalism. They weren't taught to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. They weren't taught to respect America. So they're now going to have those kids, and they're going to instill that same sentiment into their children. So we need to take a rule out of Obama's playbook. Start with our education system. We need to get Common Core out. We need to revamp the education system.
Agreed. 100,000%.
And it makes no sense to keep funding it and to keep. What's the urgency? Are we really going to sit here and say that our generations are going to be doomed if we take a couple months off and try to get this crap figured out? Or,
Right.
I mean, because they don't. I'm telling you right now, I see the hypocrisy in the school system. They 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 will get days off for stupid stuff. Like especially in Louisiana, we will give you off for Mardi Gras. So bad weather days, you'll get off. It's crazy what's going on. So we've got to get in control of our education system. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's the power of education. And if you are starting from a child, you send your kids to school, and guess what?
Yes.
We're the most selfish generation in the world right now. We without a doubt are the most selfish generation. We've got parents that aren't really parenting. They're just trying to be teenagers themselves on social media. So these kids, we're rushing them off to school when they're 4 years old now. Sometimes they're trying to get into the school at pre-K or early childhood programs at 3 years of age. What do you think they're doing all day? Do you honest to God believe they're getting taught anything? They're really not. You don't know what they're teaching your kid or how they're talking to your kid. You don't know what
Except for what comes out on libs of TikTok, and that makes it all the more scary. You're familiar with libs of TikTok?
Oh, vaguely. I know that I thought I was getting my mind mixed up with. There's some kind of like dirty moms group on TikTok that's they're all like a bunch of half-dressed whores is what it looks like.
Brutal.
I know I'm stepping on toes on that one, but it is what it is. It's gotta be said. They're nothing but a bunch of tramps, dancing around, parading around on the streets, and they're making this into some fad. And I watched some of it in the comments. You got other cities and the different parts of the country that are watching this garbage from Louisiana, and they're like, "Oh, we need to start a chapter like that here. We need." Oh, okay, that's great and wonderful. So we could just really sell America down the sewer because that's where we're headed.
Brutal. So brutal. So they're coming at us through education. It's an ongoing process. I recommend this book, The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, which chronicles the process from the 1800s to 1999, tracing the history of education, mostly in government schools, but in some private and home school systems. It covers the destruction of the education system, but it's not only, you mentioned Obama. Have you seen this chart before? Actually, before we jump into this, just to finish my point about libs of TikTok, it's this lady, Chaya Raichik, who posts videos that liberal lefty teachers post of themselves in classrooms. And it's all these like rainbow wearing, trans, creepy people that are grooming little kids. It's horrifying. But the other big thing that we've had happen since Obama came into office, if you look at this chart right here, starting at 2007, right when Obama was running for office, we had a spike in the use of the words racist, racists, and racism from the big four mainstream media news networks, New York Times, Los Angeles Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal. Anybody that went against Obama's policies was falsely slandered as a racist. I play this video on the show all the time of G. Edward Griffin reading from a 1943 American Communist Party handbook. And it says to label those that disagree with you as bigot, fascist, anti-Semite, and to repeat it until it becomes fact in the public mind. So this is basically what I postulate is happening right now. We see a major spike in 2007 of racism, racist. They're painting people who are against the commie overthrow as racist. And then when Obama started running again, it skyrocketed. And as soon as Trump got involved, they just started painting the right as racist. And look at this near vertical, asymptotic, exponential spike. Are you familiar with Yuri Bezmenov?
No.
He was a KGB defector who fled to the U.S. in the 70s, I believe, or early 80s, and he did interviews and gave speeches. He ended up being a teacher in the U.S. under a pseudonym, but he described the communist KGB and elsewise their cultural subversion program, the first phase of which is demoralization. and it's a period that lasts 15 to 20 years where you demoralize a society, turn them against each other. And if you look at this chart from 2007 with the first initial spike to now, this is 15 years of demoralization. Now we're in the destabilization phase. So this is all being fomented and orchestrated centrally, in my opinion, as a divide and conquer operation. You know, if you put red ants and black ants in a jar together, they're perfectly fine. Nobody freaks out. Everybody's cool. But if you shake the jar, they all start attacking each other. They're incapable of perceiving that it's outside forces that are riling them all up, so they start attacking each other, thinking that each other are the problem. That's what's going on right now on a societal scale, in my opinion, fracturing the country, brainwashing people to hate each other, using the communist public education system to instill un-American values. I saw a video of a guy the other day on the beach talking about American flags and how, whenever I see American flags, I know it's maggots, people talk about, how did they, what could have caused all the Nazis, all the regular people to worship Hitler and to be against the Jews. We're seeing it happen right now with people with anti-whiteism and anti-MAGA. People are being stirred up into a frenzy. This is crazy.
Well, I know one thing. The media is manipulating everything. The media is manipulating us big time. Conservative media is included in that. We're being manipulated by the social media platforms because we're being engineered. We're being engineered and censored to think a certain way. And if we don't, we're going to be excluded. So what is that doing to us as a society? It's just shutting us up. It's trying to censor us. It's trying to curtail what we truly feel in our hearts, all for the sake of community standards. There's so many things that I tried to post that was media clips on TikTok that TikTok would take down and say that it's violating their community standards. And I would appeal it. It would come back because somebody in TikTok would have to go through it. And it's crazy. They will say, okay, we reviewed it and found you guilty of violating community standards. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is crazy. I'm just posting media clips, from televised media clips. There's nothing violating about that. So it's crazy.
Unbelievable. It's a total clown world. We're being attacked from every direction, and they're dumbing us down with education. They're putting fluoride in the water to further reduce our IQs. They're bombarding us with synthetic estrogens to cut off masculinity at the knees to prevent people from resisting the takeover. They're gutting the economy, sucking out trillions of dollars with new debt, printing money to consolidate the economy and allow to create these mega corporations. This is another interesting thing. People always blame capitalism for the situation that we're in right now, but I argue that these mega corporations wouldn't even exist if they weren't given special privileges by the government that allowed them to grow so large and to monopolize. And things like the lockdowns, for instance, where they shut down all the mom and pop shops and funnel everybody through the big box stores like Walmart and Target. That's fascism. That's the collaboration between the government and private corporations, giving big companies special benefits and obliterating the average American. What did you think about the lockdowns?
It was bull. Isn't it amazing how we don't hear a word, a peep about COVID anymore? It's just, It was, after all, the most deadliest thing that we've ever seen that caused them to lock everybody down, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to die. And literally, it was Chicken Little. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. And then all of a sudden, poof, COVID just packed its bags and left America. And we have invaders at the border that are coming in. Again, not one peep about COVID. What, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
It was nothing but a scam. It was to me, it was a government dry run. It was to see how dumb. It was to see how dumb of a society that we become.
To gauge our compliability.
Yeah, if we would be subjugated, if we could be controlled. And they found out, yep, we can, and we're suckers
Hmm.
for it. But the good news is, I'm pretty sure that's ran its course. I'm pretty sure America is not going to allow that to happen again. They know
Yeah,
we were
I hope so.
yeah, they realized we were all bamboozled. I think it's just crazy. And one of the things that was heartbreaking for me is I saw it firsthand what it did to school kids.
Oh
It not
God.
only it not only traumatized school kids, but it isolated them. So
Yep.
again, we're gonna have that as a societal issue in the future because of these traits, these characteristics that were in early childhood development. They're going to be seen in the future. So there's no
Big
telling.
time. Big time. And with the way that they're doing, with the No Child Left Behind, it's like none of these kids are going to stay back and repeat the grade that
No,
they
I can tell you
missed
right
to
now.
actually learn everything. And it's just a
No,
ripple
kids
problem,
get
like a
no.
snowball.
That's a farce. That's the biggest scam. Everything that they're doing is a scam. Social Security is a
Everything.
scam. Obamacare is a scam.
Scam.
They're and they will still get up in front of the cameras, smile, and quote a Bible scripture. Mike Johnson is very amazing at that. He will go and arrogantly quote the Bible. There's a scripture I want to point out to everybody that I have to, I remind myself I'm not perfect. I do say things I later regret. But there is a scripture that our founding fathers kept at the forefront. I can't remember where. I think it's in Matthew. It says that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account. And that's to me that's terrifying. First of all, so every idle word that we speak, we're going to have to give account. So even though we're human, even though we're going to say and mess up and say things we don't mean, God says, he said it in that scripture. He does not say that, oh, in the heat of the moment, that doesn't count. No, he says every idle word we shall give an account.
There you go. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. Boom.
Yep.
Matthew 12:36.
So that's why I'm very careful. A lot of people are scared about. Okay, Josh, what if they get to you? What if they find your skeleton and try to manipulate you? Will use it against you. First of all, there's not a skeleton that I've got that I cannot explain to the public. Secondly, if they did find something that I've forgotten about and they were trying to use it against me, I would publicly admit that and tell the public, look, I'm being extorted. I'm backing out.
Exactly. That's what people, they don't do. You got to go public immediately. They're threatening me.
Yeah.
There's something that I did that I'm not proud of, but I've evolved as a person. But the important thing is not what I did badly, the fact that they're trying to control me with it. You can flip the situation on them by just admitting it and outing them as the controllers and manipulators, like Tim Burchett talked about recently on Benny Johnson, with how they lure people into hotel rooms with women and get compromising photos of them and stuff, and this honeypot operation. And it's not exactly the same thing, but they leverage people with information, and they will create the skeletons in the closet.
Yeah, I'm very careful and aware of that. I'm a guy. I'm single, and I am very cautious of who I meet now.
Yeah, gotta be. How do you feel about the COVID? Oh, I guess we can't really talk about that on YouTube. I was gonna bring up another topic. Maybe we can talk about that another time. Let's see, what else is there?
COVID
that's going on?
to me. Let me see if I can't get away with it. I think it was.
Sure, go
I
for
think
it.
it was bio. I think it was manufactured. I think uh, it was. I think in terms of Maui is what I think. I think it was
Oh
an
my God,
I
dude.
think it was an accident gone wrong. I
Mm.
think I would like to know what happened to Maui and why
Yeah,
aren't
I do.
we?
I would
Why
too.
is that disappeared? It's just it's crazy, and the fact that they want to give. I remember I can't remember how much it was very little chump change that they were given to disaster victims of that wildfire, if they still want to call it that. Uh, it's chump change compared to what they're giving illegals. I would say invaders. We need to stop saying illegals and start saying invaders, because
Yep.
all I think they're doing is they're trying to desensitize us to what's really going on. That's not, illegals. That's invaders. When you have millions coming across that border, that's invasion. That is strategy.
Absolutely.
That's strategy.
I agree 100%. I'm going to kill the YouTube feed just to bring us over to Alt Tech exclusive. Well, I don't necessarily want to do that because I want to maximize the.
We don't have to. I don't want to see you get YouTube banned.
It's all good. I just want to maximize the potential number of people that can hear you speak. So I don't necessarily want to cut off YouTube at this, during this interview. Because I want to be able to get you want you to be able to get out as much as you can. So we'll keep it YouTube friendly, which you have done. But were you aware that there is a directed energy weapons research facility on Maui?
No, I knew something had been going on there though, because it did look like a weapon. It did look like, and from the way the government responded, it was absolutely a black site project, and they're being cloak and dagger about it.
Yep, 100%. I agree.
And
even
let's not to mention that at the same time, our government is neck deep into a foreign war against Russia, a proxy war against Russia. And we're all concerned about global warming, right? We're still concerned about global warming and that agenda. But, again, we're funding black site projects of weapons of mass destruction. But we're going to come out in front of the cameras at C-SPAN and NBC. Mike Johnson is amazing in front of the cameras, and we're going to talk about climate change and global warming and all that.
So ridiculous. Yeah, from the evidence I've seen, there is no correlation between carbon dioxide and temperature at all. They picked 4 years where it kind of lined up. They focused in on that 4 years where the rest of the charts are completely non-correlating, and they do things like. We covered this recently. They place these sensors, temperature sensors, all over the place to keep track of annual temperatures. And they put them on airport tarmacs next to HVAC units, places with artificially high temperatures, so that they can manipulate the data to create the false impression of global warming, which is nuts. Did you see these pictures before, a couple months before Maui? Around this time last year, there was these green lasers that appeared over Maui from China.
I saw something. I'm always open-minded to what I watch and see if it's a hoax, because there's so much fake out there. So I'm always, but the government has already admitted to having different kinds of weapons like that. Even Trump has come out and said. Trump has come out plenty of times and told us indirectly through, not saying too much and revealing too much, but Trump himself has hinted that we have powerful weapons. So even though he's never said what they are, we can let our imaginations run with that we were probably in the Star Wars territory. At one point,
Trump.
Exactly. At one point, we all thought it was crazy to see a plane, take off and go from here to there.
Yeah. Well, I'm under the impression that we got anti-gravity technology from the Nazis in World War II, and that we've had that whole parallel program to NASA, a black budget operating secret space program where we've been developing all these advanced technologies for decades. Trump may have an inside track on that with his uncle John Trump, the longest tenured MIT professor, who ended up with a lot of Nikola Tesla's papers. So that's pretty interesting. He might have an inside track, and of course he created the Space Force as well. So he knows what's going on with all that stuff. What are your thoughts on Trump as a president?
I love Trump. Trump is, I think the left is doing everything they can to destroy him because they can't buy him. And I honestly believe that the far right, is trying to get him as well. I do. He cannot be bought. He is his own man. He can stand on his own 2 feet, and
Yep.
they despise him for that. They despise the fact that he can stand on his own, and they're trying to take him down because he's not a globalist. He is America first. I think he is the modern day George Washington now, especially since they keep persecuting him and they keep going after him. It's just the poor guy, one thing after another. I mean, during his presidency, everybody's got short term memory on this. The Republicans fought him tooth and nail during his first year. I'll
Yeah,
never
big
forget
time.
it. I'll never forget it. When he
Never
was America
Trumpers.
first, when he was America first, the Republicans gave him shit for the first year. The left and the right, they did not like him because he was bucking against them making making a livelihood off the backs of the American taxpayer.
Yep.
And he didn't
Yep.
approve of that. He didn't approve of the what is it, the $5,000 hammer?
Oh yeah.
$200,000 plunger, perhaps.
$40,000 bushings.
Yeah.
So insane. Yeah, that video went viral of the congressman a couple weeks ago lifting a bag of easily machinable bushings that cost $40,000, I believe it was. $400+ gas in Afghanistan during the war. For anybody out there in chat, do you have any questions for candidate MOROTT? Let us know in the chat if you have any specific questions. What do you think about Vivek? He's another kind of uncontrollable guy with his own
I
money.
think he's full of crap.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
I'm really good at reading bullshitters, and he's a bullshitter through and through. I think Vivek is a deep state guy.
That's terrifying.
Hopefully he don't
if
sue
that's
me.
true.
Hopefully he don't sue me.
Just say allegedly after it.
Yeah, there we go. Allegedly. I think he's
Yeah.
allegedly. I think he's allegedly a snake, just like Mike Johnson.
Boom.
Just
Oh,
like
that's
that.
disheartening.
Just like the other day when they all stood in the Justice League line, in New York for Trump at the hearing, and they all
Right,
come
Byron
out.
Donalds and everybody.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. They're all con artists, and I feel so bad for Trump because Trump has got to be like, these are a bunch of fakes, that are coming to show their support, and it's got to be a crappy feeling.
Yeah.
I don't trust Vivek. I think Vivek is a snake.
Man, well, I hope you're wrong. Because if he is a snake, he's the most dangerous snake out there.
Yes,
I think.
exactly.
You know what I mean? But as far as Trump, I do think that Trump's major weakness is the people that he's picked around him. Like, for instance, his campaign manager, Susan Wiles, is connected with Pfizer and a lot of these big companies. And apparently he's sort of being insulated when it comes to alternate sources of information. It seems like these mainstream people around him are preventing access to alternate takes on things. What are your thoughts on RFK Jr.?
I don't understand where what he's even doing. Like anybody that's trying to go against Trump is not going to win. So I'm either thinking, okay, he's either deep state or he's just, in it for the money and he's trying to sell a book. I think a lot of them right now are pushing some type of merchandise. It's absolutely disgusting. They're trying to I see it as everybody's just profiting off of the suffering. And I mean, America is suffering. We have people suffering. And I don't know what his deal is. I think he recently came out with something, just crazy. And he said he supports abortion up to the full term or something. Crazy shit like that. And I'm like, what on earth? Abortion, you might disagree. This may turn a lot of people off. We shouldn't even be having a discussion about abortion because abortion is murder.
Period.
If you leave that ball of cell untouched, it becomes you can see the heartbeat. You
It's got
can
its own
you can
DNA
see
strand.
you
It's a
can
unique
see it.
individual.
I mean, there was even different ultrasound images of babies sucking their thumbs in the womb.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
mean, it's crazy that we're even having a conversation, because I guarantee you those same nut jobs that are pro-choice would want to crucify somebody if they kicked a pregnant dog and that dog
Yeah.
if that dog had a miscarriage.
Yeah,
Dang
I'd
well
say
they would want
crucify
you.
them and the abortionists.
Yeah.
Like Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan the other day, talking about holding up a flashlight to his pregnant wife's belly and the child in the belly, like rubbing along, following the path of the flashlight. My take on RFK is that he knows exactly what he's doing, that he is like initiating a kamikaze run against the deep state effectively, that he's taking crazy positions like being in favor of reparations to draw votes away from Biden, to fracture the left and help ensure a Trump victory, basically to get justice against the people who orchestrated the murder of his uncle and father. So I think he knows he can't win, but he's trying to take votes away from the left while simultaneously pushing some policies that'll force Trump to address things that he isn't necessarily addressing, like the vaccine and stuff like that.
Or he's getting rich, filthy rich off, like all of them are doing, getting filthy rich off their campaign finances. A
Yeah,
lot of people
that's happening also for sure. For sure, that's happening. His intent otherwise is it could be both. Those are not mutually exclusive options, I think. You know what I mean?
But I don't know. I don't know all his policies. I just, from what I hear of him and see him, it's hard for me to take him serious.
Yeah, he's a
especially when
lefty.
you're,
He's a lefty.
especially when you're going against Trump and you're going against the majority that's out there saying, we don't want this, we don't want that, and he's trying to take the moderate position, is what I'm guessing. He's trying to be the center, and I don't feel that sentiment on the ground at all. People want America first. They want what's theirs. They want their government to start representing them, and they're not. We no longer have a functioning government for the people.
Yeah, it's an absolute travesty. They've pulled the rug out from under us, and they've completely taken over the government. I would, I don't even know if Congress has any power. It seems like they're all just puppets with skeletons in the closet that are being dangled over their heads like Damocles' sword.
Well, when you look at what they're doing, it literally is East Coast Hollywood. I mean, all they do is Martha's Vineyard, or we're gonna go to Martha's Vineyard. The peasants won't be there.
Martha's Vineyard.
The Martha's Vineyard.
Take a bath. We'll take a bath.
I imagine there's not even a Walmart or a dollar store there either. It's crazy. They literally have a upper class society, and we're funding it. All you people are funding their lifestyles.
Yep. Alpha Boss in the chat said earlier that he loves that term East Coast Hollywood. So good job with that. Did you make that up, or did you hear that somewhere else?
No, I coined it. I probably
nice.
East Coast Hollywood.
Yeah. Alpha Boss, he just posted in the comments too. No, it's Martha's Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, with like the faux English New England accent.
Because we all know the average person goes to Martha's Vineyard. I'm sorry to say, but us Southern folk, we can't get there. We go to Branson. And we're happy with Branson. That's the thing about the American exceptionalism. It don't take much for us to appreciate. Only those that are just money hungry and power hungry are never satisfied. And that's the conclusion that I've made, is that they all need to be voted out because they all have that common goal, which is to assert control. That's all the establishment wants, is to assert control, take more of your rights and assert control, take more of your money and assert control.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole situation is nuts. let's see. Looking to see if there's any questions in the chat. We've got people talking about RFK saying he's against guns. He's for gun control, saying that there's that climate change deniers should be jailed. Apparently, he said at one point. Yeah, Trump hasn't had nice things to say about RFK at all. Sheepdog wants me to ask if you think women should vote, be allowed to vote, but I don't know where that question comes from, but I don't want to lose you any voters.
Well, no. Okay. We can. I definitely want to touch on that. I think we definitely need to look at raising the minimum age to vote. I think we have,
yeah.
18, 20-year-olds. Now, before people start texting it, they're going to say, what about the, 18-year-olds in the military? Well, they don't make up, but not even a million. I don't even think we have a million. So if you want, let's exempt them. If that will make everybody happy, let's exempt all those that are in the armed forces. And that would just make up a slither of the pie. But in the big picture setting, we do need to raise the age limit on our voting, because we've got a lot of people that are voting without any skin in the game. And they don't have any skin in the game. They haven't gone through any trials and tribulations in their lives, so they don't know shit. And we need
Plus,
to
they're fresh out of communist brainwashing institutions. I think we should be discouraging voting. Only vote if you are informed. Only vote if you understand what's going on. Don't just get out the vote. Don't just vote because you can.
Well, yeah, because think about it. When you're 18 and even when you're 20, you really don't know anything, because you are stuck in a bottle. You're literally stuck in a bottle for 18 years, and then you're finally out and about, and you don't know anything. I'll never forget all the railroadings that I got, especially like my first getting screwed over on an apartment. I'll never forget that. Me and my ex, we made a huge mistake by prepaying our rent. Big mistake, man. Big mistake.
Uh-oh.
When they found our cat and they evicted us, they took most of our money. Because,
oh my God, dude.
Because they actually went through the apartment and was, trying to nitpick and find every little thing. We got screwed over big time. So
right.
I think we need to raise that minimum age I don't know what would be appropriate, but we need to really have a talk about that.
JJ Von Pepe in the chat says some people think only property owners should vote. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. MOROTT?
Well, that's what kind of property? I mean, if we're talking about a home, well, right now there's not going to be hardly anybody that can afford a home.
Own nothing and be happy.
And so, I mean, if you own an iPhone, I don't really think that's a fair gig at all. I think that's a huge disadvantage, because especially if you're in college, you're trying, like, let's say a lawyer, you're trying to get through everything, and then you're finally able to get out in the real world, and then you're able to vote. Now, I don't see how that makes any sense.
I
because
feel you.
I'm 41. I don't own any land. I'm 41. I don't own any land. I don't own any property. Right. I own a car, clothes on my back, and that's about it.
Just that is a testament to how they're taking the American dream from us, and they convinced women to join the workforce. In my opinion, I've been talking about this a lot lately, to hide the decline of the dollar by adding a second income stream in households. If they devalued the dollar with single family income households, it would have been very obvious that the dollar is being devalued, as suddenly people who are auto mechanics, like my grandfather, who's able to raise a household of 6 children, 5 girls, like Joe Biden likes, what a reprehensible comment by Joe Biden. Whole thing,
but such a creepy. He's
so creepy.
He's a coup, man. There's no doubt in my mind that we witnessed a coup in 2021.
Yep. 100%. I agree. Absolutely. All the evidence has been available. There were hearings in front.
They're trying to say that Biden got more votes than Obama, and I'm sitting thinking, right. Even Obama's got to be rolling his eyes on that one.
Yeah, definitely. There's no way. Yeah, and I think that that Biden is basically just the fall guy. That Obama. Remember that? Did you see that interview where he did? Where he's like, "Well, I would like if there would be a situation where I could kind of run things from the background and have somebody with an earpiece and on the stage repeating what I'm saying." It seems to me that Biden is just the guy, the fall guy, who's the idiot patsy. They're running through all of the next phase, the acceleration phase of the Obama communist takeover, and Joe Biden is just too stupid to realize he's the fall guy, basically.
He's literally the living embodiment of the Manchurian Candidate. He
Yeah.
really is. He is a puppet. I am convinced that he's demented. He's got either Alzheimer's or dementia. There's just he's not there, and I think he's being used. And it's heartbreaking because if he was, and he would never be a head of a corporation, but let's just say, in the civilian world, he's, the CEO. They would have already, sent him packing. They would have already gave him a lucrative, retirement package and saying, look, you've got to go.
Yeah.
We wish you well. Go live in the nursing home. And here's the fact. He's an, he is a, he's a Alzheimer's patient that is signing legal documents. Now, that should scare the hell out of everybody. He is signing
Yeah.
legal documents. In the real world, in the civilian world, nobody would be letting their pawpaw in that position do that kind of stuff. But because he got into power, and he's very powerful, him and the Clintons obviously go way back. They probably go way back to Scarface days. So I mean,
Seriously.
he's a Manchurian Candidate. He's a puppet, and it should scare the hell out of everybody because he's got a tremendous authority to get out there and stoke the flames of a world war. And I honestly believe that's what the left's intent is to do. They want us in a war. It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
absolutely.
It's good for okay. Let's talk on government terms. It's war is good business. It's profitable.
Mm-hmm.
It will fatten up.
Smedley Butler, war is a racket.
Without getting sued by Lockheed Martin and all them other quackies, they're probably, got some conflict of interest going on.
Yep.
That
And speaking
would,
of,
that,
oh, sorry, go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, you're okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just thinking about how, and you said in the corporate world, Biden would be given a retirement package and sent packing, basically. And it just popped into my head that that's what happened with Rona McDaniel. We're learning now that she got a big parachute package to get out of there. She's received a bunch of payments, but I'm looking at your ex over here, and I see that you were inspired by Dr. Russell Blaylock. I don't know if we can really talk about that topic on YouTube, but you said your son got a whooping cough at age 5 from his shots, couldn't sleep, spend hours researching. How did you find Dr. Russell Blaylock? Was it via InfoWars? I know he's been a guest on there before.
No. Okay, when my son had a vaccine reaction, I spent, it freaked me out. He had whooping cough. I literally heard him suffering. It tore me to pieces. I spent all night long, not a moment of sleep researching. I came across Dr. Russell Blaylock. I can't remember exactly how. It was through the researching, and I came across his videos. Came across later on. I bought his books. And learned and discovered some truths that were never told to us by any pediatrician, truths that were never, ever told us. They were all like, this is normal, okay? This is how it is. This is normal. We're going to give your kid a shot. This is for their good, et cetera, et cetera. Well, his pediatrician's office brushed us off big time. Oh no, he didn't. He ain't got whooping cough. That's not whooping cough. He doesn't have a reaction, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, okay, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I discovered and learned about the Vaccine Injury Court and the Vaccine Injury Act. The Vaccine Injury Act was all passed by Republicans during the Reagan administration, way back in the days. Now, it protects Big Pharma. Big Pharma escapes liability. So instead, guess who's on the hook for vaccine injuries is you, the
Taxpayers.
taxpayers, because they set up a federal court system that parents have to go through all kinds of hell to prove that the vaccine injured their child or that they have a reaction and it's caused by the vaccine. So they put you through all these hoops and loops and you got to jump through them. And if you're ultimately awarded a damage settlement, it comes out of the taxpayer's pocket. It doesn't come out of big pharma.
Such a shame.
I'm for repealing that law. That's bullcrap.
Absolutely.
I'm for repealing Obamacare. I'm for putting down legislation that either Congress gets on board with repealing Obamacare or Congress is forced to buy into it instead of getting their red carpet insurance that they're getting conveniently paid by the taxpayers, not to mention their inflated salaries, nearly $200,000 a year. We should be demanding a pay cut on everybody's job up there.
Right. We need people who in there that aren't there to make money, that are there because they care about the cause. That's like the whole original thing, is that you go to Washington, D.C., you do your job, and then you leave. You know, you're not there to make money. You're there because you believe in helping people and your civic duty. And I just messaged you a video in X, this clip of RFK Jr. This is where he shines, in my opinion, particularly in this video, talking about the child vaccine schedule. I just posted this in the Rumble chat too for everybody as well.
It's all about money.
Money and depopulation, in my opinion, too, which is, it seems like all these wars and the war that they're about to start, World War III, all these wars seem to be power consolidation operations at the hands of the Communist International Banking Cartel. That's what it seems like to me, that these are all they consolidate Europe. They further consolidate Europe. Now they're going to be, they put in the banks in the U.S. They took over the government. Now they need to force all of the people into submission. And I think that's why they're letting people in over the borders. They're invasion armies that'll be activated sleeper cells when they're given the word. I think that this next world war is to destroy the American people, unfortunately. So that might be a big problem. We need people like you in office to prevent it.
Yeah, that's scary, man. That I really, who would have thought that we would be here today having to talk about all kinds of crazy stuff that's going on? Like, just hearing, we need to really say these things out loud. Trump was spied on during his campaign for president.
Yep.
He was spied on by the federal government. He had the cooperation of that spy, of the spying on this candidate was done by a sitting president and a former Secretary of State. So people really need to say this stuff out loud and let it sink in. This is not America anymore.
This is not America anymore. Absolutely right. I agree with you 100%.
For the fact that nobody got brought up on treason charges is absolutely amazing. Hillary Clinton, Obama, and anybody else that has their hands on that fraud should be brought up on treason, and they're not.
Agreed. Treason 100%. Unfortunately, I have to end the broadcast a little bit early tonight. My handlers are back in town. My parents, my audience jokes around about me being a secret Fed. So they call my parents my handlers. So we're gonna have to wrap it up here. But Mr. Joshua MOROTT, running for U.S. House in Louisiana District 4. It's been a pleasure and a privilege having you on. I think you are the exact type of candidate that we need. Let's run through these policy proposals right here. Committed to creating one-page laws. I like that. Committed to replacing a tax code with a flat tax. Concealed carry via Second Amendment. Anti-drag shows for kids. Anti-pronouns. Anti-retirement age. It's your money. Pro-life. Abortion is murder. 100%. Anti-climate change agenda. Committed to kicking the UN out. Getting rid of NATO. Pro-term limits. 2-term max. Pro-COS Article 5. What's that?
The Convention of States Article 5?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Oh God, it's what's ultimately going to save America from itself.
Interesting.
We'll have to dive into that later when you have more time.
Yeah, sounds good. I'd be happy to have you back and would love to hear more about that. Also, pro-recreational marijuana, that's a way to get voters immediately observing individual rights while simultaneously giving the people what they want. So you have my full and unconditional endorsement, Mr. MOROTT. It's been a pleasure having you with us here today. Any final words before we wrap it up?
Nah, just God bless you and thank you for having me on.
God bless you as well, sir. Everybody check out electjoshmorottforcongress.com. Subscribe to stay connected and donate today. This is the type of candidate that we need in office. Thank you guys so much in advance for supporting Joshua MOROTT in Louisiana District 4 to boot out the incumbent Speaker Mike Johnson. Mr. MOROTT, thank you so much for being here today, and we're wishing you the best.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. All right, guys, that was Josh MOROTT. Looking forward to talking with him again. Another great candidate. We got to get the word out and help these guys out because we can't let what's been happening to this country continue to happen. And we need people like us in office to make it all better, basically. Oh, yeah, Alicia's over on YouTube. Love you too, Sheepdog. Thanks, everybody, for being here tonight. Appreciate all of you. And we'll be back tomorrow for Friday Extravaganza, covering all kinds of stuff. Didn't really get to much news tonight other than the big ammo manufacturer sale, which just happened. It's all right. You know, this Mr. MOROTT deserves some attention, so I'm happy to cover his campaign today. He's the type of candidate we need. But look into this. Vista Outdoor, Remington, Bushnell, all of these ammo companies being offshored, basically sent over to this Czech company, Space Lord, motherfucker, yeah. Sorry, Space Lord. Yeah, I gotta cut it a little bit early tonight, but I always like seeing your name. That's so good. That's right, Alpha Boss. Cannabis should be legal everywhere. Genesis 16, all of the seed-bearing plants were created for the use of man. Anybody that tries to tell you that we can't grow plants is pure evil, basically. You guys know the deal. It's 100%
100% evil.
Pure. 100%
It's pure evil!
So, all right, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Make sure to share this interview and help spread the word about Josh MOROTT's campaign for U.S. House in Louisiana District 4. Boot Speaker Mike Johnson and put somebody in there who's on our side, who has our values, who believes in what America stands for. Valar Dohaeris, Alpha Boss. Always good to see you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure to use hashtag CommonCensored when you share the show on X, where you can find us at _CommonCensored. Also check out alplama.com for any herbal tinctures you may need. Your new herbal health guru. Really good stuff over there. I like the mullein. That's my go-to. Nice expectorate without having to go to pharmaceuticals. That's the way to go. You can also support the show directly if you want by going over to our Linktree, where you can subscribe monthly via Subscribestar or Locals. We don't have any exclusive content right now, so it's just if you like the show, if you believe in what we're doing, we'd appreciate your support. Loki would thank you for keeping her belly full of treats and for funding her boot camp where she can learn to fire machine guns like that cool bird she saw online. Thanks everybody for being here again. We will look forward to reconvening with you all tomorrow to get back into news. We may have Andrew Hayes coming on tomorrow for a little bit as well, so that'll be fun. But we'll probably have an extended episode tomorrow, go over a whole bunch of stuff. Thanks again for being here, everybody. Love you guys. Love and respect from Connecticut. We will persevere. Things look dark right now, but like they said in The Dark Knight, it's always darkest before the dawn. And there may be a complete collapse, but we have the framework to rebuild. We have the Constitution, we have the Bill of Rights, we have the knowledge of our forefathers that can never be taken from us. So no matter what happens, we have the tools, we have the information to make America great again. Thanks for being here, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, think for yourself. Question authority. 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 Think for yourself. And smash that like button. Thanks for being here, everybody. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.